Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Akshat and today I'm going to talk about a topic that nobody is talking about, where you can give your Claude skills superpowers, and that is by allowing them to run code. Most of the people who are using Claude skills are just using them as other prompts. They're just prompts that are sitting there and you can just ask them to do things. And that's honestly a very stupid way of using Claude Code, because the point is your skills that you have created can actually run code because you are living inside literally a coding environment or a terminal, and that is the power of it. And I'm going to show you how crazy that looks like just in a second. I have my Claude Code set up here and I have a skill called image craft. And very simply, the skill actually exactly does what we are telling it to, which is create images. The idea here being that it does not give me a prompt, it does not give me anything, it should actually create an image. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, create me an image of a sun rising behind the Mercury, sci-fi style. As you can see, it will automatically use the image craft skill and then kind of in a couple of seconds create the image using Gemini. I've given it access to that and you can see very simply it has created the final image, and this is how the image looks like. Now the image is pretty cool, it looks pretty science fiction based. You has taken a snapshot from a moon kind of surface to bring down. But whatever, the idea is that this particular skill has a superpower to automatically create an image. Rather than just giving me a prompt, rather than doing anything, it has been able to create and give me an actual response. Just because if you come to the skill, and if I bring you to skill.md, and not to bore you with this, in this we have just defined here very simply that this is what is actually required for you to run it, and this is what you should use to actually create the images, and we have described the parameters and the API here. And that's the idea, that your skills should have the superpower to kind of connect with anything and anyone to build on top of it. Now, let's say you say that, Akshat, okay, this is a cool skill, but in creating images has not been a massive problem. And I get that, I completely understand. But you can use the same format to kind of create any kind of other skill. Now, given that you know the power of skill of just directly getting things done, let's actually build a skill that can do something. Now, before I do that, I need to explain you the process on how the skill works. It's nothing crazy, but it's worth mentioning here. Very simply, when you start with the skill, it simply loads in the same format. So very simply, I said create an image. It knows that relates to the image craft skills. It runs that. But now the skill has a superpower. It has the power to kind of run code because we have given it access to code that it can ask questions about or run for getting images, creating something. And very simply, it runs the script and finally gets us the response back in the chat or on a file folder or something like that, and that is completely fine. This is the simplest format the workflow works, and it's super easy to actually build this for anything that you want. Let's take a real-time example. So I'm going to use Firecrawl, which is a great web scraping tool, and I'm going to figure out a way to kind of build something with Firecrawl which can extract anything that I want from any website directly using the API. So I want to create a skill which can automatically scrape data from any website. And for that, I'm going to use Firecrawl. So Firecrawl allows us to use the APIs that they have access to kind of scrape anything that we need on the web. And the only way to do that is by kind of very simply coming here and getting an API doc. So you have here, and you can see it has the option to extract here. And I'm just going to, you can say, copy the page, right, completely, and come back to Visual Studio Code. And here I'm going to describe the following instructions. Create a skill that can extract data from anywhere in the web. I'm going to give you access to a Firecrawl API, and again configure it in the same format that we configured the image craft skill, where it has a scripts folder, it has a file that can extract code and everything else. Make sure to write the skill in a structured format and keep it limited to the exact requirements that we need, and focus on extracting data in different formats based on the options available. Now, as you can see, very simply, I have input all the information that I need for the skill. I'm just going to now paste the page that I copied here. So I copied this whole page to give it information to extract. So I'm going to give it here. Here is the Firecrawl API. I'm going to paste this and press enter. And with this, now it will be able to very simply create a format of a skill. And as you can see, it has already started building it, and we'll go ahead and create the skill in the format that we need. Let's come back to this once Claude is done so that we can actually see how did the skill turn out to be. When we come back to this, you can see we have already got the skill created right here, and a Claude Code has created a skill which has a skill file and also the extract Python function with multiple functionalities available from Firecrawl. And now you can see the best part is you don't need to look at the API ever again. You can just use the API in the format that you need from the skill itself. And that's the superpower here. Because now you don't have to figure out, okay, is it connected, not XYZ. You just come here and say, let's say, screenshot of, I'm going to take an example of Y Combinator jobs page. So in case you want to screenshot that, and I'm going to come back here, right, and screenshot of this using Firecrawl, right? And let's say that is the idea, that's we just want to test this. We can just ask it to screenshot something or scrape information about something, like, and it does not need to, like, again keep working in this. As you can see, it was missing the key in the Firecrawl environment, so I had to add that in the env file. Those are things that will come up as you keep going. But the idea here being, like, again, I can now go ahead and ask, like, again, Firecrawl scrape the jobs from this page. I can put the Y Combinator page again, and it will be able to go ahead and I can go to this page and simply, like, say extract that. Right. The idea that here is you can use Firecrawl to do so much more. You have a skill which can technically scrape data, run an API, get you information. So any API that existed before, the only thing you should be doing right now, if you're using it, is just bring it all together in a single page. And I don't like this. I, like, again forgot to switch this to bypass permissions, and we can again say now again. You can see it has also extracted the screenshot. So let's see how did the screenshot look like. I can open the screenshot, and I think it would just have, like, screenshotted the page. Yes, this is an image, so you can see this is an image, multiple different informations and everything else, but it was able to screenshot a page or use the Firecrawl API to screenshot it. And that's the power, right? And as you can see on the other task that I gave it to scrape jobs from the Y Combinator website, you can see it has already started doing that and also started saving the information here. So very simply, we have jobs extracted from the whole Y Combinator website in single place, which is crazy. It took me one skill that I can use now to scrape anything and do any part of this API I want. So you should start thinking with the power that you should enable your skills to run and write code so that they can be 10 times more powerful than what they exist right now. Just to show you a quick recap, like, this is the difference between a normal skill. A normal skill is more or less just prompt, which can help you write better or, like, write a summary, explain some stuff, but it can't do things. And that's where you need to add code to your skill, or I am calling these superpowered skills, and that's it. Let's stick with that name. Very simply, you can now use these skills to do a lot more. You can use it to get real-time data. You can use it to automate stuff, which you should be doing, and all of this lives in your skill. So you can create a skill once in the way that we did the Firecrawl skill, bring it all together and use that skill multiple times over. So now you have a Firecrawl skill which can help you scrape across all your projects, and that is crazy. You have a skill that can now create images, which is crazy, and that's the whole idea. You should think about in the terms that make sense from a skill perspective, and giving skills crazy superpowers. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and start creating skills, but also subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps you out a lot, and I would love to see you in the next one.